Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to the Happy Aura channel. It is Jenny here, your companion and cheerleader on this winding journey toward a life of clarity, peace, and genuine joy. I am so deeply grateful that you have chosen to spend this time with me today. Whether you are listening to this while taking a quiet walk in the park, driving through the city traffic, or perhaps sitting in your favorite chair with a warm cup of tea, I want you to know that this is a safe space. Take a deep breath in with me, hold it for a moment, and let it go. Today, we are going to talk about something that is often the source of our deepest pain, yet holds the key to our greatest liberation. We are going to talk about the architecture of our hearts and the one lesson that can change everything. Some of us will require the better part of a lifetime to learn a very simple sounding lesson. It is a lesson that, in a fairer world, should have struck us as obvious and urgent from the very start of our romantic lives. It is the realization that the only love worthy of the name, the only love we should ever be interested in, is reciprocal love. I know this sounds simple. You might be nodding your head and saying, "Of course, Jenny, love should be two-way." But I want us to really slow down and unpack what this means, because so many of us are living in direct contradiction to this truth. When I say reciprocal love, I mean a love where another person is entirely as convinced of us as we are of them. I mean a love where the other person is every bit as present in the relationship as we are. Think about that for a second. How many times have you found yourself in a situation where you are the one doing the heavy lifting? You are the one planning the dates. You are the one initiating the difficult conversations. And you are the one trying to bridge the emotional distance. That is not reciprocity. A reciprocal love is a love where we never need to persuade or beg. It is a love where we are not left anxious and agitated by evasions and ambiguities. We have all been there, haven't we? The agonizing wait for a text message, the scrolling through social media trying to decipher their location, the wondering where they are and when they will get back to us. In a true, healthy love, you do not have to wonder. You are not repeatedly up in the early hours of the morning, writing them long, carefully drafted messages, explaining what you hope for from them, only to delete those messages or receive a one-word answer. In a reciprocal relationship, they never cease to be entirely there for us, just as we are there for them. They are profoundly grateful that we are in their lives, just as we are grateful that they are in ours. Now, I hear some of you thinking, "But Jenny, isn't that asking for too much? Isn't that arrogant or entitled?" Let me stop you right there. This is not arrogance. This is not entitlement. This is not being too much or being needy. This is a basic law of emotional physics. The idea that asking for mutual love is demanding is a lie that we have been told, and it is a lie that will keep us small and unhappy. This requirement for reciprocity will strike us as peculiar or off-putting for only one reason: because we have not yet learned what we are owed. It feels strange because many of us have come from a very deprived place. We were, somewhere early on in our timeline, trained to despise ourselves. We have to look at the root cause. Why do we accept crumbs when we deserve the whole loaf? Often, it is because our childhoods deeply muddled our emotional mechanisms. If you grew up in a home where love was conditional, where you had to perform to be seen, or where a parent was distant and emotionally unavailable, you learned a dangerous lesson. You learned that to love is to pine. You learned that to love is to hope to persuade a damaged person who might initially present as sweet and dependable that we are good enough to be cared for. These early experiences gave us a sense that we are never in the right relationship until we feel ignored, uncomfortable, and harshly evaluated. We subconsciously believe that the only person we really need love from is someone who is not wholly persuaded by us. We chase the validation of the unavailable because, to our inner child, that feels like home. It feels like the familiar struggle we have been fighting since we were 5 years old. And so, look at what nonsense we may accept in lieu of this essential and rightful fare. Just think about how many years or decades of life we may have wasted mistaking pain for love. There are times when we will have insisted on imagining that they did love us back, telling ourselves, "Oh, they are just too shy to say so," or "They are just busy with work." We make excuses for their silence. We become the PR agents for people who are neglecting us. We invent narratives to explain away their indifference because the truth, that they just do not care enough, is too painful to bear. Think of the times when we sat patiently and politely with them while they tried to decide whether they should be with us or with a rival. We sat there, holding space for them, feeling their dilemma so acutely, empathizing with their confusion. We treated their indecision as a complex tragedy rather than what it was, an insult. If someone is deciding between you and someone else, they have already made a choice, and the choice is that they do not value you enough. Think of the times when we paid for everything: the dinners, the trips, the emotional labor, and they returned the favor with half-heartedness and forgotten birthday presents. We might have had a marriage behind us in which, almost every evening, we had to fight our case. We had to struggle to have basic things about our needs heard. We had to explain over and over again that we needed their touch, that we wanted them to be more present, that they could not stonewall us when things got hard. We might have got involved in all manner of so-called complicated relationships. You know the ones. The person seemed a little loving at first, full of potential and promises, and then very much not so in the long run. They run hot and cold. One day they are obsessed with you, the next day they are strangers. And we call it complicated because it sounds romantic. It sounds deep. But I am here to tell you today, with all the love in my heart, that there is never any such thing as a legitimately complicated relationship. That is a myth. Complexity is often just a mask for disinterest or dysfunction. They either honor us or they don't. They are either on the other end of the rope, pulling as firmly as we are, or they don't belong in our lives in any way. It is binary. It is black and white. And seeing it this way is not harsh. It is liberating. So, how do we break this cycle? How do we stop choosing the people who make us suffer? We need to establish a new code of conduct. We need to keep in mind always some fundamental rules. These rules might feel foreign at first. Because so much went wrong in childhood, these rules might be the fruit of decades of hard inner work. But they are the roadmap to your freedom. Here is the first rule. If they are still deciding, but have not yet chosen you, because perhaps there are two other people they quite like as well, or they are not sure if they are ready to settle down, we must leave them. We do not wait for them to make up their mind. We make the decision for them by walking away. You are not an option, you are a priority. If they cannot see that, they do not deserve to see you at all. Second, if they are taking ages to reply to simple messages, we must leave them. I am not talking about someone being busy in a meeting for 2 hours. I am talking about the chronic, low-level anxiety of waiting days for a response. I am talking about the person who posts on social media but cannot text you back. This is a sign of disrespect. We do not tolerate it. We leave them. Third, if they are flirting elsewhere, we must leave them. This sounds obvious, but so many of us rationalize it. We say, "Oh, they are just friendly," or "I am being too jealous." No. If they are not protecting the sanctity of your connection, if they are seeking validation from others while you are standing right there, they are not with you. We leave them. Fourth, if we need to explain to them why they should want to be with us, we must leave them. You should never, ever have to provide a PowerPoint presentation on your own worthiness. You should never have to list your qualities to convince someone to love you. Attraction and appreciation should be evident. If you are selling yourself, they are not buying. We leave them. Fifth, and this is a hard one for my empaths out there, if they are wrestling with psychological issues for which we have boundless sympathy, but which mean they cannot be kind or present, we must leave them. You can love someone, wish them well, hope they heal, and still refuse to be their punching bag or their therapist. You cannot save them by drowning with them. If their issues prevent reciprocity, the relationship is not viable. We leave them. Sixth, if they are not infinitely proud of us, we must leave them. Your partner should be your biggest fan. They should look at you with a sparkle in their eye. If they are critical, dismissive, or indifferent to your achievements and your essence, they are dimming your light. We leave them. Seventh, if we have given them several good chances and they did not listen, we must leave them. Forgiveness is a virtue, but forgetting your own worth is a sin against the self. If you have expressed a need clearly and they have ignored it repeatedly, They are showing you who they are. Believe them, we leave them. And when I say leave them, I mean exactly that. I do not mean take a break and hope they chase us. I do not mean play hard to get. I mean ensure they are no longer in our lives. We ensure that they do not occupy the slightest space in our cupboards or our thoughts. We clear out the physical reminders, the old t-shirts, the ticket stubs, the gifts, and we clear out the mental space. We block the numbers if we have to. We mute the profiles. We expel them like the emotional poisons they are. Now, I know there are complicating factors. You might be married to them. You might have children. You might have already invested 5 years or 10 years with them. You might think, but the sex is great. Or, but they are so beautiful. Or, but they are so clever. I want to say this gently, but firmly. None of this means anything. None of this is love. Great sex with someone who disrespects you is just a biological trick. Being married to someone who ignores you is just a legal contract of loneliness. Beauty fades, but the pain of being unloved lasts. All these excuses might escape our notice for a tragic reason, because we are afraid. We are afraid that this is the best we can get. We are afraid of the silence of an empty house, but we cannot afford such self-torture and self-abandonment any longer. The cost is too high. The cost is your soul. The cost is your peace. We need to come down firmly on our own side at last. The self-hatred has gone on long enough. You have punished yourself enough for the crime of wanting to be loved. Most people in the world will not think we are fabulous. Most people will not get us. And that is entirely their right. We are not for everyone. We simply need to make sure that we do not ever mistake such types for characters we might love. We need to develop a filter. When someone shows us they are not interested, we need to say, "Okay, thank you for the information," and move on, rather than trying to change their mind. We need to grow sane enough to allow ourselves to locate, hold on to, and tolerate a true ally. And I use the word tolerate deliberately, because for those of us with trauma, real love can feel boring or suspicious at first. It is calm. It is steady. It does not have the highs and lows of the drama we are used to. We have to learn to tolerate the peace. This stance is not in any way entitled. It is not brittle. We deserve to be adored where we adore. Anything less is not romantic. It is self-abandonment. It deserves to be seen for what it is. A legacy of a letdown that we did not deserve then, back in our childhoods, and we certainly do not deserve now, in our adulthood. We will have understood love when we know that the emotion is in no way about singular self-sacrifice. It is not about how much pain you can endure. It is about two people who feel constantly blessed to have met. It is about two people who look at each other and think, "How did I get so lucky?" It is about two people who care infinitely for one another's well-being. Imagine a life where you do not have to guess. Imagine a life where you come home to arms that are always happy to hold you. Imagine a life or your phone buzzes and you smile because you know it is a message of kindness, not a breadcrumb of attention. This life is possible. It exists. But to get there, you have to be willing to walk away from everything that is not that. When this finally seems obvious to you, when you look at a one-sided relationship and feel repulsion instead of attraction, you will know you are healed. When you stop trying to convince people to love you and start letting them go, you will be free. And when that happens, my friends, you will finally be home. You will be home in your own heart, and you will be ready for the person who will make a home with you. So I want you to make a promise to yourself today. Promise that you will stop chasing ghosts. Promise that you will stop knocking on doors that are locked. Promise that you will treat yourself with the same love and devotion that you have been so freely giving to others. You are worthy of reciprocal love. You are worthy of a love that is loud, clear, and kind. Do not settle for anything less. Thank you so much for listening today. I know this is heavy work, but it is the most important work you will ever do. I am sending you so much strength and so much love as you navigate this. Keep your aura bright, keep your standards high, and remember, if it is not mutual, it is not for you. Until next time, take care of your beautiful hearts. Goodbye for now.